Sprite will pay for it.
Trae, we asked Coach about that insane fourth quarter you guys had. Just kind of what were the conversations like as you guys were making this comeback?
I mean, we just stayed level-headed. I think we knew we were going to have a run eventually. I mean, they were shooting the ball lights out. And, I mean, we knew we were going to have our run, and so we just kept playing, and that's what ended up happening. We just kept playing and got some stops and just pushed the pace.
Trae, how big were the fans tonight?
The fans are always big for us. I mean, tonight, especially, when we got into the game, we started making some shots. I mean, I always believe you got to give the fans something to cheer about. So when we started doing that early in the fourth, and they got into it, and it kind of gave us some momentum, and we just kind of fed off that. And but we also fed off each other and our team's energy, and we've been playing defense really well lately. And those first few quarters didn't resemble the type of defense we've been playing, but that last one definitely did.
And I also wanted to ask you about Zach. I mean, you've talked about him, of course, but just the energy from him, just seeing him so upset after that call and just seeing him dive on the floor. Yeah. What have you seen out of him, especially with him being a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, Zach's been playing unbelievable. The more we continue to win, the more he continues to play like this, the more those Rookie of the Year talks will start going in his favor. Because it used to be, the players that win more get those types of rewards. So I hope we continue to win and push Zach into that Rookie of the Year conversation. I mean, if he plays like this, he's going to have that. That energy he had tonight, being upset with certain calls, that just shows how much you care about the game. So I always love it when guys show passion, and that just shows they care.
Trae, you talked about you guys staying level-headed. You finished on a 31-7 run. Just other than the defense, what worked for you guys to get some of those shots that you were looking for at the end?
I mean, shots just go in. Sometimes shots, you make and miss them. It's as cliche as that is. That's facts. Like Garrison had 2 open threes. I mean, last game it seemed like he couldn't miss. It seemed like he was shooting to the ocean. He couldn't hit a couple shots tonight. And then even there's a couple shots that I felt like he could have got and made, but just wasn't his night. And then fourth quarter, we started making some shots, and it only takes a few shots to go in for everything to really start flowing, and that's what we ended up doing, and that's why it felt good in that fourth quarter for sure.
Hey, Trae, did you guys feel like that clear path kind of flipped the game a little bit? It turned out to be a 5-point play?
Yeah, I mean, we knew in the huddle that it was going to be a clear path, and it was above 2 minutes and things like that, so we had a good play. Quin drew up a great play for us out of the timeout, and I don't even know. I think we just kind of played off of it. I think they took it away, the initial action, and I think Dre got the 3. If I'm not mistaken, right? I think I had a shot at the top of the key, and then I kind of shot faked and made both of them come to me and just gave Dre a wide open 3. And that was a big shot. Like, we need those. We need big moments from certain guys, and Dre's been doing great for us. And, I mean, that's 6th man of the year right there, too. So we got a couple of guys that can win some awards that we keep winning.
Yeah, you scored 50 in the fourth quarter, partly because you didn't turn the ball over at all. 0 turnovers. What was anything different about that? I know turnovers have been a problem at points this year. Was there anything you did differently in that fourth?
No, we just didn't turn the ball over. We took care of it. I mean, it's part of it. Like, sometimes early in the game, you can find yourself trying to get everybody involved in certain things that you wouldn't do necessarily in the fourth quarter when it's tight and it's close. And that's sometimes teams' problems, and we have that problem sometimes, and that's why we have some issues sometimes. But that's good. Like, we're still learning, and we're able to know when it's time to take care of it and know when it's time to slow down and get a great shot. I think that's what we did in the fourth quarter. We made sure we got a shot up instead of a turnover.
Trae, is there a point in the fourth quarter where throughout the game it seemed like Chicago was playing pretty physically? Is there a way that you guys kind of use their physicality against them and use it to your advantage? For sure. I mean, I always try to use the physicality to my advantage. I mean, I think the guy that was starting tonight on me didn't even get to play very much because he was so physical. And I told the rest at the beginning of the game how physical he was, and he just kept fouling and things like that. So I always try to use physicality to my advantage and things like that because it helps our team. It gets us in the bonus. It gets us free throws, easy points. So, but that's me because I'm a smaller guard, and I have to use that to kind of
help my team, help myself. So I think sometimes I even have to tell like some of the strong guys, when you get hit, I mean, you fight back. Sometimes the rest they don't call it because they see you fighting it back and things like that. And that's why you see guys like Jokic and Joel get so many calls and free throws because they sell it when guys are physical. So it's smart whenever guys are being physical to kind of use that against them.
Trae, with the energy tonight, the crowd, the atmosphere, what is it going to take for the league to give the Hawks a Christmas Day game? I mean, it's the day after, and it's like crazy environment. So
no, for sure. I think we got to make some noise in the playoffs, and that's what I plan to do. I mean, I want to play a Christmas game, not only just in general, but especially here in the A. I mean, I don't. They may have had a Christmas Day game here. Man, it's been a minute, so we got to get. Was Dominique playing? Yeah, that's probably why. So we may have to just get another Dominique on our team to get it here. But nah, I think we got to make some noise in the playoffs, and that's what I plan to do.
Trae, when guys like Javon and Zach are just going off like that, and you're able to overcome it, early in the season, it felt like guys were coming in and just hitting shots, but you guys weren't able to overcome it. How did it feel to kind of get the win like that tonight?
Man, it feels good. I mean, obviously you don't want teams coming in and shooting the lights out, especially certain teams and certain guys that don't usually shoot really good come in here really shooting the lights out. But you got to go through it. I mean, it's a long season. It's not going to be perfect every night. There's going to be nights that you don't have it offensively, and you got to take care of it defensively to get you a win. And unfortunately, we've had those type of nights where teams come in and shoot really good in here, and we've also had some nights when teams don't. So we got to figure out how we trend on that side more than the other. So we'll be all right. We got another one here in a couple of days, so we'll be good. Got you.
Hands, because there wasn't a lot to get a whole lot to get excited about for a significant portion of the game. We were obviously we had some breakdowns. They were making shots, but balls were going off our hand, and our crowd really the whole night. And at a time when we needed it the most, they were there. And sometimes you never take that for granted, but you don't get a chance to talk about it all the time. And tonight, to me, as much as anything, that was the story of the game, because it clearly gave us energy, and we needed every bit of energy we could get.
Coach, I felt like Jalen was pretty consistent the entire game, and I've been talking with him about his leadership lately, and he says it's something he's working on. I was just interested, from your point of view, what you've seen from Jalen, both vocally and his leadership on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Well, when Jalen is a connector, good things happen, and whether that's his ability to get to the rim, doing something for a teammate, finding a teammate on a cut or a shot, and it's huge for us. And I thought he really let the game come to him, and by that I mean I've talked a lot about his reads, when he has the ball, when he doesn't have the ball, when he drives it, and you saw that in full form tonight. And that when he plays that way, it's like it's an inspiring way to play, and I think from that standpoint, that's in addition to him being vocal and talking and those things, his play talks.
Coach, your thoughts on Zachary, the way he played today? You feel like he stayed in the game the whole way?
Yeah, I've probably talked about Zach's passion, I don't know, half a dozen times this year, and you guys just saw it. That the block that he had, his reaction to that to me was as significant as anything. He was he was pissed off, and then he turns around and dives on the floor and comes up with. I mean, he just plays like that. As much as knocking down threes, you saw his passion and his competitiveness, and those, every one of those plays we had to make tonight, and. That, again, like talking about Jalen's play, that lifts the group.
Coach, in the fourth quarter, you guys put up 50 points, obviously, like you drew it up, right? What were those conversations like, just every time dead ball? What were the conversations like as you guys were
I think we wanted to keep trying to run and attack, and not get in panic mode. And, there was enough time in the game, obviously, but, we needed to make plays, but we needed to make plays together. And I think that's what we did, and then getting some stops, I think, obviously helped us getting out in the open floor. But, even in the half court, when we didn't get something right away, we were making the extra pass and seeing our team really buy into that even more and more of when we get in the lane, it's not only for you, but you can drive to make plays. And, again, that's one of the things that Jalen does for us when he's a secondary. He gets the ball in the back end of a possession. But we had a lot of guys doing it. Dyson did it, Zach did it, Hunt did it, Trae did it, obviously. So making plays for each other, that's how you score. You don't usually score 50, but we'll take it.
Quinn, you also had a 0 turnover fourth quarter, and those have been a problem at various points this year. Can you point to anything that changed with regard to that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I maybe the urgency of the game. We were really, we had some bad ones where, bad decisions, but also some where we just lost the ball. But I didn't think, again, we're going to have some turnovers if we're passing the ball. We just have to be more precise. And whatever the situation is, whether it's our spacing or, not floating a pass, and just, I don't have an answer for you that we said at halftime, don't turn it over in the second half, and all of a sudden we didn't. We say that a lot anyway, so we said it before the game too. But again, I think it's a credit to our guys and the focus that they had, in raising their level as opposed to letting it take us down. That would, when Carter went off in the first half, that hit us. That was a body blow. And it took a little while, I think, to recover from that. But it's good that we did.
Coach, Zach LaVine had 6 of 6 from 3 in the third quarter, and then he was 1 of 1 in the fourth quarter from 3. Mm-hmm. Was the coverage any different on him in the fourth quarter? Were you guys trying to limit that?
Yeah, we were switching a lot of things to try to stay in front of him and take away his 3, but we weren't as aggressive in the switches. They do some things, and with Vucevic on the top of the floor, he's obviously, he shoots at like 47%. I thought a couple times we just were too far back on Zach, and he had a clean look, and the way he elevates for his jump shot. But we got more aggressive on the ball in pick and roll, which was good. Okay.
Jalen, sometimes when we see you play and we look at the box score and you look up and you have a career night of 30 points, it seems like you have such a steadying presence. For you, when you're on the floor, like what goes through your mind as you're trying to kind of get your teammates involved and be that steadying presence for them?
It's going to be a really simple answer, but do literally whatever it takes to help my team win. And that's just what I try to do. Even when my shots aren't falling or, something, is cut off about my game, something's not going that night, I still try to be a positive impact somehow, some way. So that's all I got. Yeah.
They were very physical with you guys tonight. How did you, and the guys on the front line, like how did you guys kind of push through that? And
we just had to be physical back, especially in that fourth quarter. I think the fourth quarter, especially, it was just great basketball by us, and literally every aspect. We took care of the ball. We got out in transition. We got stops. If you're getting stops and getting out in transition, it's hard for things to be physical with you. So we did a good job of that, and did a good job adjusting to the physicality of this game.
You've talked a lot in the last couple of weeks about making reads. There was one in the fourth quarter, I think Trae set a screen for you. And, on the drive, you found Clint for the hoop. Can you take us through what you saw in that play?
Yeah, that kind of, a lot of the defenders that are on Trae don't want to leave him. They want to keep that matchup as much as possible. So we milked that a few times in the fourth quarter. And then I had Zach, kind of beat by half a step, and Vucevic stepped up, and Clint does a great job in, reading in that read spot, and, I just threw it up to him, and he made a great play.
Jalen, how do you feel this team has grown mentally tough over the years? We've seen you guys in situations where guys are shooting lights out, and it's kind of hard to come back in those fourth quarter moments, but tonight you guys did, putting up 50 points. How do you guys feel you've grown?
Well, I will say this, like, my 4 years being here, this is probably one of the most resilient teams, that I've been on, just as far as not giving up. There's been a few times where we've been down and big leads or, a team has came back on our big lead and, we stay together. We don't separate during those moments, which I think is just a great thing, especially with what we're trying to accomplish.
Jalen, how fun was the atmosphere, especially from the fans and just the crowd reactions to you guys?
Yeah, it was big time. It was big time having, the day after Christmas, just the crowd support, and you felt it in the fourth quarter. That when we came on our comeback, just their energy, and you felt that, and we wanted to get stops for us, and just for the whole arena.
I don't know if you could speak on it generally, but like Zach seemed to get pretty fired up about that call in the fourth quarter. As a team, sort of, what was your reaction to him getting fired up? Does he get like that often?
Are you talking about on his block?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that was cool. We just try to tell him it's all good. That's a tough call, tough play, but he did a hell of a job trying to make an effort on it, and sometimes rookies aren't gonna get those calls, so just got to play through it, and he did.
Jalen, this is your first year kind of being in a position where you are. The Hawks are asking a lot of you. What is your, when you're thinking about your maturation this year, how would you kind of grade yourself or kind of talk about your maturation from day one to now?
Just literally trying to get better every day. I'm big on my work that I put in. I'm big on the film sessions, the team film sessions. So just really just trying to focus on one day at a time. I can't give myself a grade. You guys can do that at the end of the year, whatever y'all do. So, yeah, like I said, just trying to get better every day. Keep stacking wins, keep stacking days, and, just want to make those runs in the playoffs.
Coach Donovan said in the press conference, he talked about how your defense killed the Bulls. He said that was the main factor. What do you attribute to your defensive play season?
The whole team. That last 6 minute stretch when we're down 15, 6 minutes left. A lot of times teams fold, but we all just locked in. We honed in on one stop at a time, and that led to great things. Getting out in transition, doing what we do. So I think our defense, that's what we like to hang our hat on. When we got things rolling, and we did a great job of that tonight. So clearly we're capable of it. We just got to keep stacking these type of defensive performance, as we move forward. Appreciate y'all. Happy holidays, y'all.